Hey everybody, it's Jana Bressenden here, and I am continuing my mission to share my story in raw, vulnerable, and sometimes embarrassingly real ways so that you'll know that your story matters and that you're not alone. And like always, I want to just take a minute to thank all of you who have reached out to me with private messages or emails. Sometimes I'll get like an email, and I want you to know that what is happening to me is that my heart is getting broken wide open as I read your stories, as you share my story. And it's really a beautiful thing though, because as my heart is getting broken open, I feel it getting bigger and bigger. Like I can feel more and more love for each one of you and for myself as well. And I just think that is such an amazing and beautiful thing. And I just want to let you know that I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. So I had a girlfriend call me a couple days ago and say, Jana, I really need your help. There is a family at school that is friends with my kids, and the father just passed away. And I actually hear this quite a bit. And so I want to share with you the things that I shared with her about how to help someone who's hurting. So unfortunately, even though everyone knows someone who has died or everyone knows someone who's hurting, it feels a lot of the time like no one's talking about it. So none of us know what to do. It's almost like when I was a kid and nobody told me that I was going to get my period, and then all of a sudden this emergency happens and I think I'm dying. Like, literally, that is the same thing, you guys. We need to talk about how we're hurting and how we're suffering so that other people know what to do. And in this situation, the first thing I want you to know is that you don't have to say anything. You know, sometimes you're going to feel like you have to say something to make the person feel better, or you have to know what to say, or you have to know what to do. But guess what? If you just lost your heart, if you've just lost your future, or the most important thing that's happened to you, nothing anyone can say is going to make that better. And in fact, there are a lot of things that you can say that'll really make it worse. I literally had people coming up to me at the funeral when Tim died and say to my face, well, you're young, you'll find someone else. As if that was going to make me stop hurting right in that second. Same thing if someone has lost a child, like, oh, well, don't worry, you can have more kids. Like, those things hurt us even more deeply than the thing that we're already hurting with. So I want you to know that if you're worried that you don't have the right thing to say or you don't know the right thing to do, I want you to just imagine on a big balloon writing the words, I need to know what to say, or I need to know what to do. And then just hold that balloon by a string and then just watch it float off into the sky. Because you don't. One of the really interesting things I learned in those first few weeks and months after Tim died was that I had a lot of Christians tell me, like, oh, I'll pray for you. But the people who weren't necessarily spiritually minded or have faith as the center of what our relationship was, they would just be here. They came to my home and they made meals for me and they sat with me and they brought games and toys for my kids and they were just here. So what I want you to know is if you really want to help somebody who's hurting, first of all, just let any idea go that you have to say or do anything, and to just show up. Just be there. Then you're going to know what needs to be done. You're going to see that there's dishes in the sink. You're going to see that there's laundry that needs to be done, maybe a toilet that needs to be scrubbed. Maybe there's a kid who needs to be played with, or someone who just needs to sit. I think one of the most helpful things that I had was right when Tim found that first brain tumor in Singapore. is the Singaporean girlfriend who drove me everywhere and took me everywhere. She didn't know me very well. So you know what she did? She sat by me at the pool while our kids played and read a book. She didn't even say anything or make me feel like I needed to talk to her or entertain her. And it was so comforting because there was no expectations, but there was somebody there. So I want you to know that just by being there, you'll see a lot of the things that you need to do. And so, in that same vein, I also want to say something you should never do. Don't ever say, call me if you need anything. I'm totally here for you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, they're never going to call. When you are just trying to figure out how to get out of bed in the morning, there is no way you're going to get yourself organized enough to figure out what you need and then go through your Rolodex and figure out who can meet that need. It's just never going to happen. So I would say something that really would be helpful is to say something like, hey, I'm on my way to Costco. Can I pick up anything for you? Or, hey, can I pick up your dry cleaning? Or I noticed that your trash cans need to come out. Do you mind if I just take them out on Monday nights when the trash cans need to be put out? Like, especially if for a widow, it's her husband who's passed away. Like, think of all the things that he's not doing anymore. That would be really helpful if you could pitch in. So things like mowing the lawn or, bringing meals, those kinds of things would be helpful because then when you mention something specific that you'd like to help with, all the person has to do is say, oh my God, that would be great. Thank you so much. So, a final one that I want to give you that will be incredibly helpful if you have a friend who's suffering is just to remember the holidays. So one of the really awesome things that Tim did for me was really make Mother's Day special, like making me breakfast in bed and getting all my favorite things and taking me to my favorite place to eat. Well, guess what? When he wasn't around, it was going to be hard for my, 3, 6, and 7-year-old to figure out how to do those things, even though they were treasured memories in our family. So I remember Jared, one of Tim's best friends, calling me up and saying he wanted to take my kids out before Mother's Day. And that's what he did for us. He helped my kids plan an amazing Mother's Day for me and stood in the place where their dad was before. And that was really such a gift. I don't know if you guys realize this, but like single moms don't have people stuff their stockings at Christmas because there's someone special used to do that. So it would kind of go the same for like single dads too. So something really awesome would be for you to offer and say like, hey, can we exchange stockings this year or something like that? So these are just a few of my ideas of things that you can do that would be really helpful when you know someone who's hurting. And I'm kind of in the process of creating a little worksheet and checklist. So if that's something that you think would be helpful to you, just in the comments, click send me one. And when I figure out how to get it all connected, I can shoot it out as an email or send you a link so that you can download it. But anyways, I hope this helps you to not be so scared. If you know someone that's hurting or someone who needs you, just be there. They don't need anything fancy. They just need you. So I am going to be signing off for today. And just remember that I'm always going to be here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, sharing my story so that you'll know that your story matters. If you know someone that you think could really use something like this, feel free to share. And then if you want to tell me your stories, which is really my favorite part of doing the show, you can always private message me. You can reach me on Facebook or on my email, which is hello@janabresenden.com. I'll see you on Friday. Bye, everybody.